Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here with Eitan, and we are thrilled to be together and sharing with you the secrets of revealing the hidden light of Chanukah. Now, it's not every year that Chanukah falls in a whole week, so it's a super awesome opportunity for us to share not only the secrets behind what this hidden light is and why this week is so powerful for our spiritual growth, but it's unusual that it fills an entire week. It could be Wednesday to Wednesday, it could be Friday to Friday here. If you're listening on Sunday, it starts Sunday night. But whenever you're listening this week, everything that we're saying is applicable because this energy permeates the 8 days from Sunday night to Sunday night. So it's a very exciting opportunity, and we wanted to jump on it and share. Really, I think it's one of the most beautiful and understandable and approachable teachings from the wisdom of Kabbalah, and we're excited to fill this episode with all of that golden wisdom. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that through gleaning through the wisdom of Kabbalah and picking out the most relevant stories, teachings, tools, and even personal anecdotes to help our listeners make the most of this week. But also, every episode ends up providing timeless wisdom that you can use whenever, wherever. And because these 8 coming days are so packed with, for me, one of the most important teachings around this time is that this is the window in time for the lowest of us, right? Many times you feel when you hear about spiritual opportunities and light that we can connect to or reveal, it sounds like, I'm not spiritual enough, I'm not wise enough, I'm not connected enough, I'm not holy enough. And Chanukah happens to be the most accessible, the most relatable, especially for those of us who seem or feel like we're not where we could be yet. So, Eitan, I'm excited to share lots of juicy nuggets with everybody. Where do you think we should begin?
I think we should start with the fact that Chanukah is 8 days. In the number 8, it's a code for the dimension beyond logic, even spiritually. So the Kabbalists explain the number 7 represents circuitry of energy and spirituality within logic, within reason. The lower 7 levels represent, in Kabbalah, the dimension that I can access, I can grasp. The number 8 represents the dimension above what I can see, what I can reason, what I can grasp. And that's the first thing we would love to start with. What does it mean? What does it mean? Because we know these 8 days of Chanukah, there's a cosmic window to access that energy of miracles. So, look at our life. A baby is born. We say, what a miracle. You get a good phone call. You get a good email. You get good moment of inspiration. What a miracle. But think about it. What you observe is that maybe great fortune and great news that appear in this world. But let's get deeper. Where did it come from? What initiated that miracle? What is the secret plan of the Creator that brought whatever blessing into our life? Kabbalistically, in every given moment, there's a secret plan, energy of the Creator that's watching over us and wants to give us so much more than what we are open to receive. And usually, we're just looking at life from the box of our logical dimension, logical expectation. But now in these 8 days, we're open to access to the dimension beyond. And that 8 represent the dimension beyond, means I'm open to access a greater plan of the Creator beyond me, beyond what I'm envisioning, of my future, of what's possible. I'm able to access the strength, the courage beyond what I believe I had. I'm able to look at this moment that appears dark, and I know in a greater dimension beyond what I see, there's such miracles available now. The ability to access the dimension beyond what my senses showing me. By the way, the reason why, the Kabbalists explain, the time of Chanukah is around the time of the longest nights of the year. Around this time, around December, is because it's representing, it's the sun is the most concealed at night, and it's the longest night of the year, which hiding the greatest unlimited blessings, miracles, dimension beyond. So that's the first thing. During the time of Chanukah, just by lighting the candles and being aware of that, we are opening ourselves not just to believe, to receive strength and energy and spiritual surgery to our mind, to our belief system, to open ourselves that this dimension is available. So that's, I would say, first step.
I think it's a practice that every single individual needs to work on in their own level, right? The idea of connecting to the energy of miracles. I think most people think a miracle is, whether it's a coincidence or a person who prays enough gets a miracle, a person who behaves like that, we need to deserve a miracle. And if we don't deserve miracles, then the other belief is they're random. And I think for all of us, part of the work this week is strengthening our certainty, our consciousness around knowing that the light is not only, the light of the Creator is not only there in dark moments, meaning, my favorite way to relate this is to remind everyone what the Rav once said to someone, Rav Berg once said to someone who came to say that he had a great miracle. He got into a car accident and came away without a scratch. No one was hurt. The Rav Berg answered him, I had an even greater miracle. I wasn't in a car accident today, right? That a miracle is not out of the blue, out of the ordinary, dramatic turn of events in our favor. It is literally the way that we're meant to live our lives. And the fact that we don't see miracles or we don't treat life like it's a miracle is also one of the reasons we don't experience those miracles. So when I say that it's a practice that each one of us needs to strengthen wherever we're at, it might mean for some people to go from that mindset of, the first example, I got into an accident and nothing happened, to, it was a miracle that I didn't get into a car accident at all, to the person who's in a car accident and there is damage and bruises and it's not everyone walked away without a scratch experience. And in that situation can also see the light of the Creator. I think that's one of the bigger secrets that Chanukah comes to teach us, but not as a lesson, as a lifestyle, that we learn to see the light, not also in the dark moments, but especially in the dark moments. And I had a session with a group of people earlier today, and we focused on the situations in our lives that seemed terrible, painful, difficult, challenging while we were in them. But now that we're on the other side of them, they were some of the best moments of our lives. Why don't we experience those difficult moments as the best moments of our life while we're happening? That's really the practice, is to know that not only the light is there in those difficult moments, in moments of darkness, there is greater light. That's part of the big revelation, not only I think from Chanukah, but also from this week's portion, that the light is there in all the dark places and even more so. And I feel like today it's all too easy to look at the world and feel discouraged and desperate and hopeless. Part of our work being on a spiritual path is not letting ourselves see the darkness, but to focus instead on the light that's there, despite the data that our five senses provide us. So I feel like this week, each one of us can find that my nature when something goes wrong is to, fill in that blank, is to become sad, is to become angry, is to point fingers, is to blame myself, is to shut down and not and pretend it's not there. Whatever our go-to response is to disappointment, frustration, rejection, whatever it is, and practice this week on being the opposite. That's the practice. I know my natural tendency is to be a pessimist. I know my natural tendency is to be hopeless. Practice being hopeful. Practice being optimistic. Practice staying present and not retreating when things are not the way you think they should be. That's the kind of fuel that creates the miracles. You can have a tank full of light, but if you're not activating that light by going against what's natural and reactive for you, it's like having a full tank of gas and not going anywhere. So I think for all of us, we need to bring in some active work this week to really ignite that light.
Beautiful. Chanukah comes from the word in Hebrew chinuch, which is education. So the Kabbalist explains in these 8 days of Chanukah, we have a chance to re-educate the way we see and we think about life and ourselves for the whole year. It's not just for these 8 days. In this portion of the week, we have the final miracles of the process of that Joseph went through. From last week being treated by his brothers in the worst way, almost killing him. Sending him to be in a pit with scorpions and snakes. Then selling him as a slave. Then being accused for raping someone that he never did, then being in jail for 12 years, then finally becoming the second to the king and equal to the king of entire Egypt. That's what's happening in this portion. What was so special about Joseph that in the midst of the worst moments of his life, he was okay? And that's teaching us a big lessons about pain. We suffer when we don't see or believe in a vision of greatness. When our vision of my future, small future, big picture future, whatever process I'm going through in life, is stuck into and it will be bad, then we suffer. But imagine, like Joseph, in every step of the challenging moments that he had, betrayal, which is one of the worst pain a person experiences, he paused and he says, I know that there's a hidden light in this moment, and there's a secret plan or vision for the Creator of why I'm going through it. I have no clue what this secret vision is, but I'm open myself to trust it and even to feel it, even though it doesn't make sense. So while in my own logical vision, I don't see a future. But every time I don't see a future, remember the hidden light, the number 8, the dimension beyond logic, is running the show. And I have a choice. Either I stick to my vision of reality, which showing everything will be dark, or I'm opening myself for the greater vision of reality by the true force of the Creator beyond what I can see and fathom. And the secret of this week, you can reach a level not just to think it, to feel it. How can I feel great vision for my future when I'm going through a challenge without understanding and seeing clearly how it will be? That's the miracle of Chanukah. Trust and feel even if you don't know. That's when that hidden light becomes revealed to our heart. And that's what we need to meditate when you're lighting the candles. In front of the candles. Oh, it's not symbolic. Open yourself for that energy of feeling the vision of the Creator even though you don't understand that. I know there's a hidden plan of the Creator for my life right now. I'm open to feel it. That's how you allow miracles to take over in your life. And by the way, even when things are amazing and you're so satisfied based on your own limited vision, wow, it happened exactly what I wanted. My vision of reality is fulfilled. Pause, and I've learned from the Ravberg and Kernberg, are you open for the greater vision beyond these great moments? Even the great moments have there's a parallel greater vision. Never settle for less. Miracles begets even greater miracles. Things unlimited. Always there's a greater dimension of visions, of miracles, of promise wants to be manifested in my life.
I think that in those moments that we feel are dark, or that you can look at them and say, this is bad, right? There's certain experiences in life that it's very hard during them to acknowledge goodness or possibility in them. There's a teaching, there's so many teachings that are coming to my mind right now, but one that I think helps me in those moments is that there's no such thing as a little bit of light. But that I think when we remember that in the midst of a struggle, a challenge, a dark moment, and we can find something good, positive, something to appreciate or be grateful for, it changes everything. And for me, one of the most powerful things I got from the teachings of Kabbalah, myself personally, is the fact that I get to choose what I focus on. I get to choose my experience. I can look at something as it's the worst thing that ever happened. Or like you said, I can say, I don't see the whole picture. And I can find, even if it's a dot of light in the story. You know, it made me reach out to a friend that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and now we've rekindled that friendship. There's no such thing in the metaphysical reality as a little light, because if you capture a spark of light in the midst of the darkness, that spark is connected to the endless light of the Creator, and you're tapping into the totality of the light.
I love it. So what you're saying, Elisheva, is in times of darkness, look at one area in your life you recognize light. And if you take that one, let's say, extension of the light of the Creator that is in your life, with your child, with your family, with your health, with the good things that happen, and you really take it back to the source, what is the source of that light? Endless light. So actually, the fact that I have some light, right now there's endless light that's shining in my life. And that opening myself to the miracles beyond. I love that.
I think also for a lot of our listeners, probably most of our listeners are very familiar, or at least somewhat familiar with the concept of Chanukah. Most of us learn about it as a commemoration of a miracle that happened thousands of years ago during the Greek Empire. The Kabbalists teach a very different reason for lighting the Hanukkah candles. And I think it's important to touch on it because sharing that, especially for those of us who are doing it already anyways, or who have been doing it, or are going to go to somebody's house to celebrate with them this week, having that shift, that deeper understanding of why we light those candles makes all the difference. So can we go a little bit into why do we light the menorah or the Chanukiah every night for the 8 nights of Hanukkah?
Yes. So first, we know Kabbalistically that in this world of tikkun, of correction, of transformation, we need to do physical action to activate spiritual energy in our life. So it's even more recommended energetically to light a menorah which with olive oil in a week. So when you do so, maybe physically you like just a little candle with a little bit of light, but not that light is activating the spiritual light of miracle that is available. So don't believe in the physical, superficial light, which has meaning as well. This is just igniting the unseen light in your heart and your soul. Another thing, in the entire Torah, there are 36 times the word light, candle, or lights appear. Throughout the entire Hanukkah, we're lighting 36 candles, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and at the 8 and 8. Altogether, if you add it up, 36 candles, 36. Those 36 are indicator that the first 36 hours of humanity, which is Adam and Eve, they accessed naturally the hidden light. Life was like a miracle. And then was a concealment, and our goal eventually to reconnect to this initial 36 hours through the 36 candles of Hanukkah. So just understand that through the physical lighting and the specific words, which those words are channels to bridge the blessings that we are reciting, they're channels to bridge between the physical world of the vibration, the sounds, the shapes of the letter, to the metaphysical world of this hidden light that we have a cosmic opening to bring it down, to become reality in our life. So it's not a tradition. It is not remembering something that happened 2,500 years ago. It's energy that's available today that I would like to tap for me, for my family, for my community, and for the whole world.
I'm so excited for more people to have that consciousness this week as we light the lights and celebrate that we will really see not only miracles in our own lives, but through our collective effort to have a more elevated consciousness about what we're doing, to tap into that hidden light and to reveal it in our world. We need it more than ever, and I think that we're ready for it. So I'm very excited for this to get out there and create a real shift in the world for us and for all of humanity. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also visit our website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where you can search our archives, send us a message, and of course, click the donate button to help make our podcast possible. But as always, we invite you to share this episode with as many people as possible so that we can watch that light of miracles engulf the planet this week. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.